Investment scams often involve convincing you to put up money for a questionable investment or one that doesn't exist at all. And in most cases, you'll lose some or all of your money. There are many ways fraudsters can approach you, and the digital era has allowed new kinds of scams as well as more ways for fraudsters to target their victims. These scams can include romance scams, crypto scams, pump and dump schemes, and even using artificial intelligence to copy your voice and steal your identity. We're now joined by Elizabeth Naumovski, Vice President of Marketing at Caldwell Securities Limited, to unpack this further. Elizabeth, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Theresa. I'm very excited to be here with you today.
Now, with the rapid development of AI and other technologies, investment scams are becoming more sophisticated, making it essential for investors to stay informed. Now, what are the warning signs of investment scams?
So I just want to step back for a moment. I was just reading off the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre website, and in 2024, Canadians were defrauded of their hard-earned money, $638 million. That seems like a lot of money, but I actually think that it's a lot higher
Mhm.
because a lot of these scams or when you've been scammed or defrauded, they do not, people typically do not run to the police and tell them what has happened. So I believe that that number is higher. So warning signs of investment scams. Somebody promises you high returns with little or no risk.
Mhm.
We all know the higher the risk, the higher the returns. You may get a hot tip or insider information. Number one, why would somebody be giving you a hot tip if they don't really know you? And insider information is actually fraudulent and you could go to jail for it. So we don't want to do that.
Mhm.
If you feel like you're being pressured to buy and there's a, quick time frame and they're saying, this is very, very quick because if you don't buy it, somebody else is going to buy it. That's another red flag. And the other one that you should actually always ask is this person who's trying to sell me an investment, are they registered? Are they registered in
Mhm.
Canada to be able to sell you investments? Because anyone trying to sell securities or offering investment advice must be registered in Canada.
And how can investors protect themselves from fraud and scams?
That's a really good question. Number one is always get a second opinion. Go to somebody who is registered, go to a professional in our industry and ask them about it. Take your time. Take your time. If you need to make a decision, think about it. Speak to a friend as well. The bottom line is don't be afraid to say no. No, I'm not interested. And, we all talk about keeping our lives simple. Keep this simple as well. If it's a phone call, say no and just hang up.
Mhm.
If it's too good to be true, step back and think about it because it actually is too good to be true. Don't be impulsive. If you have to be impulsive with something, it's not a good idea. We're looking at the AI voice spoofing that you had just mentioned in the introduction.
Mhm.
The grandparent scam is a huge one. Maybe going forward, families should have safe words or safe phrases so that if somebody does contact the grandparent, um, they can ask for the safe word or ask for the safe phrase where we all know who we're talking to now. And, even if somebody calls up and says, Grandma, Grandpa, I've been in an accident, I've broken my nose, my voice doesn't sound right, blah, 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 hang
Mhm.
up and then actually call that person on their regular cell number. And romance scams are another type of investment scam as well. Basically, what they try to do is separate you from your loved ones.
Mhm.
They tell you that they love you so much that you need to be with them. And they tell you, don't talk to your sister, don't talk to your children, don't talk to your family or friends. You and I are, we're each other's king and queen. So when somebody tries to separate you as well, that's another alert, a red flag. So, what you have to do is just step back and look at things and see how they're progressing. And as I said, it's very, very easy to say no.
And what steps can be taken to verify the legitimacy of a financial company or their advisors?
So, if you are registered in Canada, if you're an individual that's registered, even a corporation that's registered, an investment corporation, go to the Canadian Securities Administrators website.
Mhm.
You can type in an investment advisor's name, You can type in the company name and they'll tell you whether the person or the company are in good standing. So there are, if somebody comes to you and asks you, go to the website, write their name down, and see whether they actually are legitimate. And if anybody does approach you, it's easy to say, "Let me think about it. I'll get back to you."
Now, not a lot of people want to admit that they're a victim of fraud. When it comes to those romance scams or the grandparent scams, it's embarrassing sometimes. So,
Yeah.
what can people do if they are a victim to fraud and I guess kind of own up to it and take accountability for it, but kind of know also that it's okay?
Well, I think, the grandparent scam, the romance scams, it can be embarrassing
Hmm.
because those are actually scams of the heart, right? You're trying
Right.
to help your loved one. You are in love with whoever it is that you think you're in love with. So, what you need to do is when you realize or when you think that you're actually in some sort of a fraudulent situation, talk to a friend. Once you talk to a friend and get it out of your system, then collect all the emails, collect all the texts, any receipts or anything from any money that you've sent out. Contact your financial institution and say, listen, it seems that I have been scammed. I sent out this money. This is where it's sent to. Put red flags on your accounts just in case you shared um, social insurance number or anything else that's private. Change all your passwords. Go to your local police department and tell them what happened. Even though scammers are outside of, Ontario, Canada, whatever province you're in, it's still good to go and talk to your local police department and put uh, let them know about it just so that it's there for future. And then also contact Equifax and TransUnion, report the fraud to both the credit bureaus as well, so that you've actually covered all your bases. The other thing you should do is report it to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center. They have a phone number on their website. They have an info at Canadian Anti-Fraud Center email address. Tell them exactly what happened. You need to share it. I know it's embarrassing. I know it's not a good idea when you've been through something like this. You really don't want to tell people. It's very important to share this with everyone. And not only is it important to share, the reason why you want to do this is because you want to help other people so that they don't fall victims of fraud. And the other thing too is beware because those fraudsters will come back to you and they will try to tell you that they're going to help you get your money back, but they will try to defraud you for the second time.
Well, Elizabeth, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Teresa.